Hey everybody, Mike at Wildcat Stamps. Going to be talking about stamp albums, the good, the bad, and the ugly. Let's start out with what a lot of people have are these bound, they're bound like a book. Got a couple of old modern postage stamp albums here. They are different dates. This one is the copyright date of being from. This one's in pretty bad shape, but still. This is 1933, and the most common stamps up to that time. It does include the 3 Zeppelin stamps in the U.S. Air Mail, which could set you back. Those 3 stamps used could set you back $1,000. Okay, so you kind of got to take what they put in these albums with a grain of salt, you know what I mean? Okay, and this is the same deal, except this is 1940. So this album, you've got 1840 to 1940. This would be the Classics Ultralight Classics. The classic stamps are 1840, which was the first year of the first stamp, the British penny black. And, then this album goes to 1940, and this album's in pretty bad shape. But just showing you. Now, the thing about you get these albums and you get a bunch of stamps in there. If you start stacking the stamps, you layer them kind of. The album has no provision in here to spacers between the pages, and what you end up with is an album that sticks out like this, or even tears the. Maybe what happened to this album. This album has a lot of Hinge remnants in it. Probably had a very large collection and may have just actually eventually caused the binding there to come loose. And, so you're pretty well limited to just flat what's printed there. And, but you can work with that. I know a guy that buys these old albums and then works with them and builds them into a really nice collection, then he sells them. It's kind of a hobby he has. They also had U.S. albums. I mean, you'll find there's a bunch of albums like this, and this one is the same deal. It's got bigger pages, bigger size paper, and there are no spacers between the pages. So if you really put a lot of stamps in there, you're going to end up with an album that's, jacked up like that. So keep that in mind. If you get a bound album like that, you can use it. I have just recently acquired Minkus Global albums. I don't have them in here, but one album's about this thick, okay? There's 5 of them, and 5 big albums like about this size here with that many pages in it. And they're good to 1976, and they're pretty inclusive. I would say they've got over 95% of the stamps ever printed room for those stamps in their pages. Real rare stamps, they're probably not in there. So there's a lot of very expensive stamps included in there, though. But it's, very inclusive, so it makes it easy to collect up to about 76. By the year 2000, there were 5 volumes in 76 that were pretty inclusive. To be that inclusive in the year 2000, you needed 120 volumes this thick. Okay, to give you some idea how many stamps are printed every year, different designs. And, that 2000 was 20 years ago. It's 2020 now, almost 2021. And I have no idea how many, 300, 400, 500 volumes like this. I don't know. But that gives you some idea of how vast, the stamp collecting field can be. And there's no way any one person can keep up with the worldwide issues that come out every year. It's crazy. So, you have to kind of limit yourself. This is another bound album here. And this one has spacers in it, in the pages, in between some of the pages here, that allow, you can really pack some stamps in this one. but I'm not seeing one right now. This is an old International Junior. This was a 1930 edition. And it cuts out 10 years of the classics. And for me, that's a good thing, because I didn't, when I got back into stamp collecting, I didn't have a lot of time, and you know, I was doing good to avoid those other years. Here's what I mean by spacers in the pages. See here, that's 4 or 5 pages right there. Well, they're all through the album like that, and it keeps the album from getting too, wanked up like this. So, International Juniors are built a little bit better than the other ones, and there's all different kinds of brand name albums out there, and you could use any of them. You just have to think about what you're doing. And so I don't put anything in this album, the Junior album, past 1930. This is just 1840 to 1930. If it's after that, I sell the stamps in packets. It's gone, so don't even worry about it. Now, albums are going to, I believe the stamp albums are going to 8.5 by 11 size paper. That's your standard page size, and you can print albums off the internet. Several sites have albums you can print. Some of them are free pages, others, others are not. Let me put this back before I lose it, guys. I collect US 720s. Have a ton of them. They're all different, that one stamp. We'll get into that another time though. But albums are going to like 8.5 paper, and here's some, this one has a frame on it. This is just a single page, and it looks like it's some kind of graph paper. This is one I made up. This is just the Blind Marianne issue from France, but that's 8.5 by 11 paper, 3-hole punch, standard 3-hole binder, nothing special, and gives you plenty of room to collect what you like. I mean, you can expand, do whatever. Here's another French page. Just put it in any way you want to. And with all the stamps that have been issued, this really makes a lot of sense. Here's a page of some Spanish stamps from Spain, 8.5 by 11. Now this is cardstock, a little bit thicker paper, which I really like. I've gone to trying to use all cardstock. And this is a page of Belgium, just to give you an idea. So, you can let your creativity loose when you're doing that. And I made these grids here that I put underneath the page when I'm mounting the stamps. I've got 2 different grids I can use. It helps keep the stamps, oriented and straight, because that was just plain paper. No box for the stamp or anything, just the stamps, what I say, putting them in wild. So, you can think about doing it that way. You can even use, notebook paper. You can use graph paper, just regular paper. I've used stationery. A business was going out of business, and they were tossing their stationery, and I got it all. Here's a page with just a border around it, simple border, and that feels like typewriting paper. These are just computer generated. This is for, rows of stamps. Put them in any way you want to. And here's another one. This is for definitive, the smaller size stamps. You can print these up on your computer if you can figure out how to do it. There's, office programs and stuff. Get somebody to help you if you don't know how to do it, if you want to print those up. And then you could take one of these albums, it's bound, and you go ahead and put the stamps that's showing into this album. And for stamp, this is 1945, so you got like 80 more years, 75 more years of stamps. You could build an auxiliary album, take the stamps that won't fit in there, keep everything looking pretty nice. Here's some precs, these different cancels and stuff, just to give you an idea. Those are 721, 720s, but my collecting has gone to 8.5 by 11 paper, even though I have these other albums, just to, give you an idea. And this is my US album. When I started collecting, again, like I say, I did not have a lot of time. I didn't have time to make pages, and I was on the go. I was working like 16 hours a day. So I bought a cheap album, Pony Express album. At the time, I got this for just a couple of bucks. I bought a bunch of them, gave a bunch of them away. This was through 1998. And I have added pages. And as I found stamps I found interesting, with, socked on the nose cancels, slogan cancels, all kinds of stuff, they just went in here, and I started putting blank pages in to catch some of the overflow. So this is kind of a wild album that's not exactly, not exactly in any kind of order, but these are close to where the stamp's being issued by the year. So, a whole page there of one stamp. But you don't have to just, collect what's just there. You can put additional stamps and stuff around as your collection grows. And I don't collect expensive stamps. If there's a rare stamp spot or something I consider expensive, I put a different stamp in there or use the page for something else. Like the White Plains souvenir sheet is, I don't know, a couple of $100. I don't even know. I don't, pay any attention to prices and stuff anymore. But there's my, this is the page for the White Plains souvenir sheet, I think. I got it pretty well packed in there. But, I figure at some point I'll get an Admiral Byrd sheet. But a Century of Progress, I'm not getting one of those. If I did, I'd sell it. So I have shades, I have blocks, I have different kinds of cancels, just whatever attracts my eye. And none of these are valuable stamps. I just collect the common stuff, which is still fun. It's still fun to do. And that's what collecting is all about to me. It's fun. It's not an investment. They probably burn these when I die. So, but let me see here. I mount everything with stamp hinges. Because like I said, I'm just collecting postally used, and I'll go into that in another video. Also, I'm going to do a video just on stamp hinges. A lot of people don't know much about them and think you have to have those plastic mounts. You don't. I collected mint for years, sold those collections, and started postally used stamps and never turned back. Let me put a plug in for my eBay Indian Trading, 101 different packets for $1.98. And through the end of January, I'm holding a sale. If you buy 2 of them, if you order 2 of them at the same time for $1.98, I'm throwing a 3rd packet in free. Just, that's an easy way to build your collection. And, collecting's fun. It is for me. I know a lot of people out there still collect stamps. And a lot of people were former stamp collectors that, might find it an enjoyable hobby, and you don't have to spend a lot of money to collect stamps. It can still be a fun hobby and, not break the bank. And I can show you how to do that, and it will. Anyway, I hope you like the advice on the albums. I say if you're starting out, just go with 8.5 by 11, even just the blank pages. Get some hinges, get some stamps, and start collecting. Anyway, check me out on eBay. I put a link right down below here. And you guys have a great day. More stamp videos coming. We'll see you then. Bye-bye.